Hello beautiful good people, my name is Hannah, and today I'm not in my usual filming spot. Where am I?
You're in Marshall to visit me.
Wow! But yeah, I'm here visiting Emery for the weekend, filming a book review because we're on the YouTube grind. So I have recently read Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. And it's highly talked about on BookTube. And it's highly praised. Everyone loves it. So today we're gonna talk about things I loved, talk about things I maybe didn't like, and figure out a rating because I still haven't rated it yet. So let's do a quick little summary. So Radio Silence is about this girl named Frances, and she's the head girl at her private school in England.
And that's why they talked weird. There was some vocabulary that I didn't get.
Emery read it for like 14 pages.
17.
17.
Because I started it last night, and then I was like,
Yeah, you didn't like it, but I think it's because you didn't want to commit to it. It's about this girl named Frances, and she's the head girl, and she is highly intelligent, gets like straight A's, and all she wants to do is go to Cambridge. And her one guilty pleasure is listening to this podcast on YouTube called Universe City. And she actually creates fan art for it until one day the creator reaches out to her and says, hey, do you think you would be interested in doing some fan art for the podcast? And she's like aghast. She's like, oh my gosh, my favorite podcast just reached out to me. They followed you back. That's a great feeling. And so one drunken night, this kid named Aled confesses to Frances that he is actually the creator of Universe City, and they're like, and so the plot kind of starts from there, and they kind of grow into this like really nice friendship, platonic, for reasons we'll get into later. And I actually, we're gonna get my general thoughts, and I actually was enjoying it until the climax, and then once the climax hit, it kind of began to be a bit slow for me, because it's like that classic thing in the movies when they have the conflict and they have to resolve it, but it's not like done as soon as you want it to be, because it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And that's what this book is. And so the last part of it kind of feels like dragged out. So anywho, it kind of explores platonic friendships. It kind of explores night and day parenting, really good parenting and not so good parenting.
Oh, yes.
Like themes of silence and like finding yourself. It's a coming of age story, but I think it's handled really well. The journey is executed well. And I liked the way Alice handled a lot of things. I just had some little bitty issues, and that's what we're going to talk about in the spoiler section. So yeah, if you haven't read it, bye.
Listen.
Do you mind if I like spoil it for you? Because you probably won't read it.
I didn't like the 17 pages I read.
Really?
So
I thought it was so gripping.
I'm going to give my review right now. Okay. Alright, 17-page review.
Okay.
By Emery.
Okay.
I think the author overused technological references because she was trying to be like, I'm hip and I know what's going on.
No, but Alice, look how young she is. She's like in the know.
Wait, what? Wait a minute. Is this girl like 14?
No, she graduated college. I think she might have.
She looks like she's 14 years old.
She's at least in her 20s. No, have you ever read Becky Albertalli?
No.
Her like use of like lingo is overused. I don't think this one has done that at all. I think it's done in a very natural way that's believable to the characters and what their situation is in. I'm defending her. I'm defending Alice. I think it was done really well, and the teenage language was developed in a way that was, for me, believable. And I think it developed authentic characters.
Okay.
You know how you can like feel like characters feel more real than others? All these characters felt really real to me. And I think Alice like knew what she was doing with her craft, because in the beginning I noted how silence was already going to be a theme.
Yeah.
Which I think was really cool for her to do.
I think it was well done.
And like literally the first chapter is, the first sentence is like, can you hear me? And then the last sentence of the first chapter is, but ended up closing it again and not saying anything. So it like really speaks to like themes of not being able to express yourself and being confined in silence, I think.
I'm so tired of being here.
And like Alec, his whole character development is like centered around like he only talks when spoken to. I think it brings up an interesting discussion of silence, but I don't think a lot of people talk about this and how it can be like your greatest asset or your biggest enemy.
How so?
Well, like Alan, there's a point in the book and like here where he doesn't talk to anybody and it serves him no purpose, which actually really frustrated me. When like he could have just reached out to literally anybody, everybody cared about him, you know, and they would have given him listening ears, but he chose to stay in solitary, which for me is really frustrating. He just chose to like internalize it all.
I know people like that.
I know it's realistic, but for me it just bothered me.
There comes a point where if you don't like share any of your feelings ever, then you're just gonna end up hurting yourself or something.
Yeah, exactly, and I feel like that's what Alan was doing, which might be realistic. It just was frustrating. Do you think my standards are too high?
Yes.
Do you think I should give it 5 stars?
It doesn't sound like you want to give it 5 stars.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, also, another topic I want to talk about. Francis, like, frequently talks about school Francis versus normal Francis. Do you think you have a different version of yourself when you're at school? You know what I realized? This sounds like exactly like Radio Rebel.
That's what I was thinking when you were telling me about the plot.
Yeah.
It sounds like that awful Disney Channel movie with
With Debbie Ryan. To summarize this book, it's Radio Rebel.
Radio Rebel in a young adult form.
Yeah, with more diversity and different stuff in it. Do you think that's true though? Like, do you think you have a different version of yourself at school versus like normal life?
I think to some extent everybody
does, right?
Their dynamic, their like the dynamic of their personality like changes depending on who they're with. Because like when I'm with you, I think I'm a little bit more willing to like be a little out there and be myself. But like if I'm where I'm people I don't know quite as well at school or whatever, I'm probably gonna be more professional, more.
That's true.
Like
and like sometimes
reserved.
it's needed, yeah. Also, she doesn't get into Cambridge.
Wait, what? That sucks.
Like her interview is really bad, which is also like kind of relatable.
Well, like, okay, so the part at the beginning that I read of the 17 pages, she like BS's a lot of her stuff apparently.
Yeah.
And like that's relatable because
yeah,
I'd say 80 to 90%.
No, yeah, I would say
75% of my homework is
BS.
BS. And I was actually discussing with one of my professors today, and he was like, you know, Emery, one thing I've noticed really about you is that you like just really know how to play the game.
You know, as I'm discussing this, I think I should give this book 5 stars.
Wow.
I do really appreciate everything about this book. Just like a little frustrations, but I don't think that should deteriorate from 5 stars.
I agree.
So yeah, in conclusion, I had some issues with it, but I still really, really liked it. You know what? I thought of a new thought.
What?
When I was like researching like reviews on what people thought of this book, I noticed that not one person had like the same thing to say. Like not one person pinpointed the exact same thing. Does that make sense? Which I think is fascinating and interesting. Also, that's a reader for you. We all have different interpretations.
That's true. That's very
But
weird. I never read reviews.
But I noticed how like some people were pointing out like, oh, this book is about like people not having to go to college. This person it's just about a platonic relationship, where I like pinpointed silence. But I feel like silence is really prevalent to my personality because I notice things like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a listener. I think I'm more of a listener than a talker.
She is a listener.
And so I think it's really interesting how the author handled these topics in such a way that anybody could pinpoint different things and like still be affected by it. Does that make sense? Okay.
I do. Well, I mean, that's how it is with everything. I mean, so many people, especially with classics and stuff, it's crazy what a book can mean to someone.
I can see my battery flashing, so I'm going to end it right now. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Keep reading.
And all that jazz.
Wow!
I'm ticklish. We just should make a separate video about punctuation entirely.
I agree.
I figure I could really go into
I really
this
like that.
for a long time. I think that the semicolon is like the sexiest punctuation mark. There's something so sexy about it. Gotta go my own way.
But what about us?
What about
Everything we've been through. But what about trust? You know I never wanted to hurt you.
We're gonna wake Kimmy up. the calf the other day put peanut butter on pizza.
Gross!
And cute ending, right? Tickle, tickle, ha ha ha, Candid. Are you not ticklish?
No, I told you that. I don't know. I just feel confident when you're with me.
Aw, that's so sweet.